bring in our guests as well. Joining us is R.S. Luna, Managing Partner, Alliance Corporate Lawyers. Mr. Luna, appreciate you joining us. Also with us is Hitesh Jain, Partner, ALMT, and Suhas Tuljapurkar, Managing Partner at Legacies. Arun, since you've broken the big scoop, you want to go ahead and ask the first question.
I think I'd want to put that question first to Suhas and then to Hitesh. Suhas, if you look at the statement, they are saying they don't want to get into a public spat. But what they are clearly saying is that the tenure of the chairman, of the former chairman, was marked by repeated departures from the culture and ethos of the group. And they go on to say, giving a hint as to what the real reason was, the directors of the Tata Sons board had repeatedly raised queries and concerns on certain business areas, and the trustees of the Tata Trust were increasingly getting concerned with the growing trust deficit with Mr. Mistry. But these were not being addressed. The Tata Sons board, in its collective wisdom, took the decision to replace its chairman in the manner undertaken. What do you make of this, Suhas? What does that tell you?
So that really means, Arun, is that, at a right forum and appropriate time, they will justify the actions. That's the broad underlying principle. But when they're talking about ethos and ethics as one of the prime consideration, because the Tata Trusts are public charitable trusts, therefore the ethics discussion coming to the forefront of business consideration is a very good sign. Therefore, what will happen now is really everything will revolve around governance and ethics. I think I look at that as a very good sign.
What do you mean by it's a very good sign, Suhas?
Yeah, because what happens is till now, these were only business considerations which were driven by shareholder value, which value was in monetary terms. So the discussion broadly is on the points as to shareholders' value in pecuniary monetary terms and the values such as the ethics, ethos, and corporate governance.
Suhas, the word ethics is not used.
Ethos.
The word they say is from the culture and ethos of the group.
So broadly the values. You can equate values to ethics.
Okay, it's a little bit of a stretch. A little bit, but it is a semantics. But Suhas, I don't think are they really departing from business to ethics when they say that there were repeated departures from the culture and the ethos of the group?
Yeah, what are the culture and ethos of the group? The culture and ethos of the group, which is translated probably in the Tata Code of Conduct, TCOC, that is driven by Tata Trusts, broadly speaking. And therefore, Tata Trust is saying when we're talking about ethos, those ethos would require, as Arun has been repeatedly pointing out, the clear communication. The kind of drive that the group has towards these parameters, these ethos, which are basically when a public charitable trust are the majority owners of the shareholders, would be looked at differently from merely the shareholder value in pecuniary terms.
Cool. Sure. We can bring in Hitesh.
Okay, yes. Hitesh, what did you make of this rebuttal? First and foremost, do you feel they have answered Cyrus Mistry's charges?
They have not answered and they will not answer. For the simple reason I will explain to you. Cyrus Mistry is going and badgering them. The email leak yesterday, he listed out the irregularities and all the factors. Now, the fact is, you have to also understand, if anyone who will go to the court or the tribunal, it is going to be Cyrus Mistry. So the dilemma before the Tata is, should they continue to keep waiting and watching and trying to wait to respond, or should they respond in some manner? Because, if you can see from the tenor of the reply, they say, we have the material and we will show it before the appropriate forum. Now, this is a carefully crafted letter, which is drafted on the advice of the lawyers. And any sane lawyer will advise them that if they have to disclose the material, so they have responded in certain manner, therefore they have used as culture and ethos and all these things. These are just the large words used so as to reply and just put something in the domain that, listen, we are not keeping quiet, but we are replying, but not giving sufficient material. And they are saying that if we want to respond, you go to the court and we'll place all the material before the court. So it's they have disclosed little, they have spoken about the broad words, but no details have been mentioned. And rightly, the strategy is to place all the material before the appropriate forum, because at this moment, strategically, it is not good to open all the cards. They would like to see to what extent and what forum Cyrus Mistry would approach, and moment he approach, all the information will be thrown on him. This is a very clear strategy.
They don't want to take the bait, Latha. I think, which is something that we mentioned yesterday, that the Tata Group may not want to take the bait and may want to hold out. And that is possibly also driven by the personality of Mr. Tata himself.
And this is what we reported yesterday as well, Arun, which is now confirmed by the Tata official response. But this is what you reported yesterday as well, that perhaps they will respond, but they will not go into a point-by-point rebuttal at this stage.
What I'm told is that the point-by-point dossier is ready.
Is ready, but it will not be made public. Yes, absolutely. We also have...
Can the spin be that there was nothing that they could rebut? Playing the devil's advocate.
But there is one important point there, which one of the group executive directors made, which we can ask to Mr. Luna, that, on Chorus Point especially, one executive director who's worked with both of them very closely, he asked on Chorus if Mr. Mistry is talking of a potential markdown. I do not know this having been discussed at the board level.
Okay.
This is quite stunning that some of the statements made in those letters were not even discussed at the board level, where Mr. Mistry himself was present. And one very important point, you had the AGM of some of these companies as just recently as one or 2 months back, where another executive director said he painted a rosy picture. Why?
Yeah. Let's just go back to that point that Arun is making, and as the response very clearly suggests, Mr. Luna, that this business of Cyrus Mistry claiming that he was a lame duck chairman doesn't hold out. At least if you look at the communication that's coming from the Tatas, they say that he was free to do as he wanted, and he was fully in control of the decisions that were happening at the level of operating companies. Mr. Luna?
The point which one needs to look at is that whether this removal was justified or arbitrary. Now, Mr. Cyrus has given some kind of letter yesterday, and now today we are getting the response from Tata's. Both these responses from both the sides, they need to be tested with the factual position. We can't go by what Cyrus is saying and what Tatas are saying.
Sure.
This is all in the public domain here, what they're talking, and the way of responding in public domain is one way, and the way of responding in the court is another thing. Now, you see, when the Tatas say that there were issues which were raised before him in the past also, then what prevented them from putting all those issues in a show cause notice to be given to him? They could have very well laid on all those allegations against him and asked him to explain for that. And if his explanation was not found satisfactory, they would have taken action.
So what you're saying, Mr. Luna, is that the behavior or the manner in which Mr. Mistry was sacked is still open to question, and that he should have been given a chance to defend himself.
And that's an important point that Mr. Luna is making, Latha, because if you go back to the statement which talks about it being unfortunate that he's lost the confidence, several factors were raised and so on and so forth, as Mr. Luna is pointing out, then why didn't you actually have a show cause notice and get them to respond?
I would guess, knowing the people who advised.
Allegations.
Yes, Mr.
I'm
Luna.
sorry, you see the kind of allegations that they were not as per the ethos or morals of this Tata Trust. I mean, this is a very, very loose kind of comment. We are looking at the corporate sector.
Mr. Luna, if you could just hold on, sir, because we are joined now by Mr. V.R. Mehta, member of the Sir Dorabji Tata Trust. Mr. Mehta, appreciate you joining us on CNBC-TV18, sir. I want to get your comment specifically on what the Tatas have said today, sir. They say the directors of the Tata Sons board had repeatedly raised queries and concerns on certain business issues, and trustees of the Tata Trust were increasingly getting concerned with the growing trust deficit with Mr. Mistry, but these were not being addressed. You're a member of the Dorabji Tata Trust, Mr. Mehta. Were you getting increasingly concerned about decisions that were being taken by Cyrus Mistry, as is the claim now by the Tatas officially? Mr. Mehta?
Okay, I think we have to...
Mr. Mehta, can you hear us? Okay, we'll go back to
in
him.
the
Yes,
meantime,
yeah.
on what Mr. Luna said, I can only hazard a guess. And this is what we've been saying for the last 48 hours. Assuming they'd laid out a chart sheet and, they'd prepared a show cause notice, I really wonder whether the end objective could have been achieved in the way they did.
So quickly.
While it may have seemed overnight, this happened meticulously over a period of 1 or 2 months.
Yes, absolutely.
And the fact that Mr. Mistry, 20 minutes before the board meeting, was asked by Mr. Ratan Tata to gracefully exit, which he refused, and had to step into a board meeting which had been legally convened. It had been legally convened, which is why he was there in the first place. Mr. Mistry would not be attending an illegal board meeting. Yeah. He was present. What he's claiming yesterday in his letter is the business was illegal, not the meeting.
No.
In a properly convened board meeting, he was replaced as the chairman. The important point is, had the show cause notice been issued, had the allegations been made before, would they have been able to achieve this end result with no dissension among any directors? I think this was done based, what I am told, on the advice, clear legal advice of the eminent jurists, exactly, whoever they sought the advice from. This was done in a very careful manner so as to ensure that they achieve the end result.
Let's just get a quick comment from both Mr. Luna and Suhas on the points that Arun was making there. Mr. Luna, sorry I interrupted you because we were trying to get in a comment from Mr. Mehta, but go ahead, sir.
No, what I was saying that, this kind of allegation that Mr. Cyrus was not meeting with the ethos or morals which are set by the Tata Trust. In my view, he was running a business empire. He was not running a charitable trust. And so he has to go by the business norms, the regulations that are set for the listed entities and so on. So, I mean, I was reading a newspaper today. For instance, the trust people, they are unhappy that the dividend was not being given to them as much they were getting earlier.
Yes.
The flow of dividend has come down. Now, as a chairman of the company, if he feels that the profits have come down, the company needs to conserve the resources and the dividend needs to be cut down, and he himself having the 18% shares in the company, his own dividend is going to come down. How can we say that he is not following the morals?
Yeah.
Okay. No, that's a fair point. What you're saying, therefore, Mr. Luna, is that the defense of the Tata Sons note